Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, I wanted to just quickly go over my King of the Island Festival deck that I played. I'm already done with it. It took me like 2 hours to finish the event, or at the very least, to get all of the gems, as you can see here. Yeah, let's just quickly go over the event. Oh, also, this deck is, I ended up going, 11 and 4? It only took me 15 games to get all the way to the end there, which was nice. And honestly, this event is not my favorite. So, and this is why. For some reason, they decided to allow Maxi in this event. Like, this event would have been incredible had they just only touched Maxi. Had they just banned Maxi and hit no other card, this would have been great. But alas, here we are. So we're playing a very nerfed version of like Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc. We don't have Nerval. They banned Nerval for reasons unknown. They also banned Revolt. Sure, I guess that makes sense. And then they also limited Karos. They also limited Bird Call. They also limited DD Crow, but that's fine. We're only playing one anyway. So we're playing a weird amalgamation of cards and just kind of making it work as we go. So let's quickly do the card by card, starting off with the Lyriluscs, which happen to be pretty much in full swing, for the most part, I guess. But we're playing the 2 Cobalt Sparrow, because for some reason this card is still semi-limited. Konami, do you forget about these cards? What is happening? They've been semi-limited for ages. So we're playing 2 Cobalt Sparrow, we're playing triple Sapphire Swallow, we're playing triple Turquoise Warbler, the triple Barrel Canary, and the 2 Celeste Wagtail. Pretty simple there. All of these just have additional ways of special summoning themselves. This guy can freely special summon itself if you control no monsters. Sapphire Swallow special summons itself and another level 1 winged beast if you control another winged beast. Cobalt Sparrow and Celeste Wagtail on special search out a monster and a spell trap respectively. This one is a level 1 winged beast. This one is specifically a Lyrilusc spell trap, so there's that. Although I don't know if there are any traps. There's one. But we're not playing it. And then we are playing the triple Barrel Canary, which can revive from the grave, but locks you into Xyz. So do keep that in mind. This is the only one that locks you. Moving on, we have the Tri-Brigades. We have Karos, which special summons itself by discarding another winged beast, beast warrior, beast from the hand. Then we have Kit, which dumps another Tri-Brigade name, and then Fractal, which can send any level 3 or lower beast, beast warrior, or winged beast from the deck to the grave. On top of that, they all have the same effect, where on the field they can banish the link material rating from the graveyard of beast, beast warrior, winged beast to summon a beast, beast warrior, winged beast. So this basically allows you to go into things that you normally wouldn't, like for example, Scareclaw Lightheart or Double Dragon Lords, or Ancient Warrior's Oath Double Dragon Lord. So there's that. Pretty nice. We're just maxing out on all that we can basically there. Even without the Nerval, it's still pretty decent. And then, of course, we're playing 2 Rescue Cat because it's funny. No, honestly, Rescue Cat is actually pretty good. It allows you to, on normal summon, basically get a free access Ferrigite, which is actually pretty good. So, yeah, that's basically it. You just summon out 2 beasts, which, hey, these happen to be beasts that are level 3 or lower, I believe. And then they're destroyed during the end phase and stuff like that. But you just link them off for Ferrigite or whatever it may be. You can also special summon this off of the Ferrigite in order to grab whatever it may be that you want to off of it. So, again, pretty good card, so we're playing 2 of that. We're also playing ourselves 1 Somorph of Darkness, and the reason for this card is because of Somorph Bird of Sovereignty, which can special summon it. This just happens to be the best of the Somorphs because it negates a spell trap by just triggering itself, or a wind beast, or winged beast monster, which is not too hard to come across in the deck. So yeah, it's just pretty decent to have, and it's the second best one outside of Apex Avian, which is currently banned. So there you go. Yeah, you could also play like Dark Samord, which prevents your opponent from setting cards, which is fine, but I think just having the negate is a little bit better. So there's that. That's basically it. That's the only real target. And then, you know, you can also special summon things like Cobalt Sparrow or Celeste Wagtail if you need to. But yeah, that's it for the monsters. We're also playing a few hand traps, the triple Maxi and the 1 DD Crow. That's it for monster hand traps. We're also playing triple Imperm, because this is the only other hand trap that's really available. I think there might be something else. not entirely certain, but it's probably very bad. So there's that. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing a whole bunch of spells. We're playing Foolish Burial 1-for-1 to summon out all of these level 1s. We're playing 2 Lightning Storms just to deal with back row or anything really. We're playing 2 Triple Tax. This is honestly a really good card. We're also playing the 1 Bird Call and the 1 Bird Sanctuary. Bird Call searches and specials a monster, which is very nice. So that's basically it. And then we have Bird Sanctuary, which can allow you to OTK with Assembled Nightingale, which is very nice. We also have the 2 Called By and the 1 Crossout, and the only trap is Imperm. As for the extra deck, we're playing 2 Recital Starling, 2 Assembled Nightingale, and 1 Ensemble Blue for our Lyriluscs. The rest are links, but the reason for this is because there aren't really much better options in terms of rank 1s that you could go into. So we're just playing the 2 apiece of Assembled and Recital, and then the 1 Ensemble Blue. Sure, you could play a second Ensemble Blue. Honestly, it never really comes up. Yeah, that's basically it. If you're making an end board with Ensemble Blue, you're probably not going to need to make another Ensemble Blue. It's better probably to just go for the Assembled or something along those lines. And I didn't really have anything here that I would want to cut. I guess you could cut, like, Donner for maybe a Promenade or something like that. Yeah, you could maybe play, like, Promenade Thrush or something like that, just to deal with back row if you need to. But honestly, this card also never comes up, so yeah, it's whatever. Moving on. We have a whole bunch of Link monsters. We're playing 1 Lightheart, so that if we special summon something with a Kairos, we can banish, and then immediately go for the... or we can just banish the 1 material and then have access to a Farajit or a Bearbrum, which is nice. We're playing the 1 Double Dragon Lords as well, in order to just have an additional disruption. Being able to send a card from the hand or field to the graveyard in order to bounce a card back to the hand is pretty nice. We also have ourselves 2 Farajit. It does come up. But yeah, being able to special summon from the hand a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior Winged Beast, as well as just requiring any 2 of those types is very nice. Just as a link to. Also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can cycle a card, so you can draw 1 and then place 1 back onto the bottom of the deck from your hand, which is nice, especially if you draw this guy. You can just, you make this one, and then when this guy's linked off, you can just put this back and get something probably better. So there's that. We have the Bearbrum. This came up a few times. It actually only came up once. But it was still nice. Like, there's not really a better card that you could play. Again, maybe Promenade Thrush. But this card's pretty good at being able to discard 2 to special summon back one of your banished Beast Warriors to give you access to things like Shureg if you need to. So it's decent. We have the 1 Donner. It's just here to pop cards. You can also summon it pretty easily because it's a Beast Warrior off of the Tri-Brigade stuff. So there's that. We have Smorg. You're summoning this every time, basically. This is the main win condition because it generates massive advantage. It also protects your winged beasts from targeting. It also protects itself. It's also just easy access to a plethora of good winged beast monsters. And yeah, that's basically it. Then we have the 1 Rugal. Rugal also only came up once, but having a Link 3 is just nice to have in general. It can also special summon a level 4 from the level 4 or lower Tri-type from the grave. And then Shureg on summon banishes. On summon of a Beast Warrior Winged Beast, also on a special summon, it also banishes. And then on top of that, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can add a Beast Warrior Winged Beast with a level less than or equal to the number of your banished Tri-types. So that's also very nice. I used this to, like, I would just summon it to get a search, basically. So that's pretty nice to have. But all in all, it's mostly just Assembled Nightingale shenanigans, kind of like have an out. Do you? No? Okay, die. That's basically the deck. But let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going first with a pretty good hand, I'm not going to lie. So we're going to start off here with the turquoise into the turquoise, and then go for Recital Starling. Recital Starling is going to search out the Cobalt Sparrow, which then we can special summon out with the Sapphire Swallow to grab up another Celeste Wagtail. We're going to then link off into the Farajit to special summon out the Celeste Wagtail, which will then search the Bird Sanctuary. We're then going to link off into the Smorph, and then go for the Farajit to cycle a card, and I actually draw a kit here, which is fantastic, because now we're going to go for the kit effect. We're going to go and banish 2 to grab up the DDL, and then we can go for our assembled, or Ensemble Blue. We're going to go Ensemble Blue, and with the effect of the, not the Barrel Canary, the Sapphire Swallow, we can attach another material, and then we also have the Celeste Wagtail engrave to attach itself as well. Oh, also, all of the Lyrilusc Lyriluscs have an effect if they are attached as an Xe material. Barrel Canary boosts by 200. Sapphire Swallow allows you to attach another Lyrilusc. Cobalt Sparrow protects from targeting, but this guy also protects from targeting, so there's that. Do keep that in mind. And then Celeste Wagtail can attach itself from the grave to a Lyrilusc Xe. So there's that. So now we have the 4 material Ensemble Blue, which bounces monsters that are special summoned, which is pretty nice. We're also going to fire the Maxi in the draw phase, and it's going to get called by. Now I know what you're saying. Why did we not activate the Smorf? Because I misclicked. I was going to, and then I just misclicked and didn't. So, whoops. It turns out it was actually probably better, but alas, my opponent is going to grab up the Zodiac half of their engine. I'm like, okay, interesting. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, Tri-Brigade. And out comes Barrel Canary, and I go... Sorry, not Barrel Canary. Cobalt Sparrow. That's not... We're playing Zodiac, Tri-Brigade, Lyrilusc. Okay, sure, that's fine. Out comes the Cobalt Sparrow. I'm going to bounce that back to hand. Now, I know what you're saying. Why are we bouncing this? This card doesn't do anything. It does. It prevents me from targeting. This card needs to target. So, therefore, we have to bounce this. Because otherwise, if they have an Xe monster, they can just make it, and yeah, I can't deal with it. Because all of my stuff targets. So, I'm like, okay, we're going to not allow them to have this card. So we're going to bounce the Cobalt Sparrow back to hand. Also, it's a hard once per turn anyway, so I'm like, yeah, you can have it. That's fine. They're going to special summon it again off of the Sapphire Swallow. Now, I could target the Sapphire Swallow, but obviously we're going to target the Cobalt Sparrow here. We're going to bounce that. Now, out comes the Recital Starling. I'm like, that's totally fine, because again, we can just immediately get rid of it. They also drew the one of Bird Call. Good thing we have the Smorf. So we're going to activate the Smorf. We're going to negate, and out comes Triple Tag. What the hell? They also decide to take the Smorf here instead of taking the, or they take the Bird of Sovereignty instead of taking the Smorf of Darkness, which they absolutely should have, because then they could have just walked over this guy. But I guess no, because the Ancient Warriors, I don't know, there wasn't really a great option for them there, to be fair. We bounce back to the Zodiac, and then we also get to send an additional card. They're going to attack over the Ancient, over the Ancient Warriors, and then special summon out their own Celeste Wagtail, which I believe they had already activated that turn. No, they hadn't. They just didn't have a target for it, which is very funny. So, don't know why we're summoning this, but whatever. At this point, the game is over. I drew a Barrel Canary, and yeah, good game. That overall shows you what the end board can be. So, there you go. Alright, and here we are once again going first with mostly the Tri-Brigade half of our deck, which should be interesting. So we're going to start off here with the Fractal in order to send a kit. I actually have to send the kit here just so that I have additional materials. We're going to send the last Fractal as well. We're going to banish both Fractals for the Ferrigi. Ferrigi special summon out the Cat, and then Cat can summon out the Karos and the kit. We're then going to link off into the Rugal here, and then I'm also going to activate the effect. And Turquoise Warbler isn't bad, but it's not great either. However, I do find a line here that is pretty interesting. So I'm going to go for the Bear Brum here in order to pitch my entire hand to special summon back this Fractal. Fractal effect will then activate, and we have 4 materials worth of cards in the grave to then special summon out the Shureg. So we're going to go for the Shureg here, which happens to be a winged beast, which then allows us to go into the Smorf. Now, Smorf isn't in a link zone, which means that we kind of can't use the target protection, but that's okay because now we can search out the Barrel Canary. So I'm going to search out that Barrel Canary, and then we're going to go for the Recital Starling. Now, I know this is weird. Why would we not have gone for Ensemble Blue to gain that bounce, since we could have had, 2 bounces as well as the Spell Trap Negate? Seems pretty good, right? I decided to go for the Recital Starling because at this point, the idea of this board is don't die. That's the idea. The idea is don't die. Because if we don't die, we do have very good follow-up, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just, we're going to boost the attack of the Smorf here with the first effect of the Recital Starling, and then we're also going to search Barrel Canary. Barrel Canary is more or less full combo, and with the Smorf, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling pretty good. It's difficult to deal with Bird of Sovereignty, especially with the Spell Trap protection, so I'm feeling pretty decent. It's not like insane, but I'm feeling pretty decent here. My opponent is going to special summon 2 level 3s with Ninjutsu Art of Mosquito Marching. Sure. Out comes Cicada King. They're going to switch it to defense position with the Dream Cicada, which will then allow them to special summon. Then they go for Korobage, which is wacky, but okay. Which then deals with the Recital Starling, and that's fine. That card wasn't really doing anything. It was just there. I guess I could have negated, or I could have tributed the Recital there for the Smorf of Darkness, so it's not really that big a deal. They're then going to go for the Pick Up Lena, which then goes for the Beargram and attaches it. They're going to shuffle away 3 cards and draw a card, which of course they draw into the one of, or the one giant ballpark. So I of course have to negate that. No way am I allowing a giant ballpark to remain on the field. Then they make a, I go for the Rugal here just because I'm not entirely sure if there is a good time for this. And they make giant, ultimate great insect, which is a card that exists for some reason. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. They tribute in the second monster with 2,000 or more defense that has an equipped card equipped to it in order to special summon this. Also, can't be destroyed by battle. Fantastic. They're going to banish it in order to go for the Beargram, which then nukes my field. However, they can't attack me for lethal damage. So, we're doing pretty good. We still have 4,000 attack points, or 4,000 life points, and we're not dead. DD Crow is not great, but it's okay, and I'll show you why. So we're going to go for the Barrel Canary to grab up the Recital Starling. The Recital Starling effect is going to boost the attack of my opponent's monster. Trust. Follow along. We're going to go for the Recital Starling. We're going to grab up the Sapphire Swallow. Sapphire Swallow will special summon out at the DD Crow, which will then allow us to go for the Assembled. Also, Sapphire Swallow's effect activates in order to attach an additional material to the Assembled. Now, Assembled can attack directly, which is fantastic. However, first we're going to detach a material in order to prevent ourselves from taking damage. Now, I know what you saw. I just dealt 38 damage to my opponent by attacking them with the Recital Starling. Yes, this has a secondary effect where all battle damage you would take, from battles involving this Xyz Summon card is also inflicted to your opponent. Now, I do not know why this works, but the Assembled allows you to detach a material from this card, and then Lyrilusc monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect, and also you just take no battle damage, period. So, while I am not taking battle damage, I can still inflict battle damage to my opponent with the Recital Starling. I don't know why this works, and why the wording works in the way that it does, but basically this means that when I boosted my opponent's monster, I now can just attack them for a ton of damage. And this basically puts them on my 2-turn clock. I'm more or less saying, okay, you have to have an out to your own monster, because if you don't, you die. And I'm going to do this again. I'm going to detach another material. Again, doesn't matter what you do, except for Giant Ballpark. Giant Ballpark is a problem, because it says during damage calculation, if a player would take battle damage, which this is, I'm just replacing the battle damage, or not replacing, but giving them the battle damage. If someone would take battle damage, they don't, and instead you do the thing. So that kind of sucks for me. They're going to go to battle. They're going to try and pop a card, which notably they can't because of Assembled. So there's that. They are going to take an additional set of damage from Picafolina attacking and then not activating the Giant Ballpark, but then they're going to activate the Giant Ballpark here for the Beargram, and then they're going to special summon one basic insect to go for an Invincible Atlas. They're going to activate the Invincible Atlas to special summon out the Sting Lancer by tributing off of their big monster to go for the Negate. Now, here's the thing. This is still fine, because I still have higher life points than them, and I wouldn't die if I were to attack into the Invincible Atlas. However, they would. So at this point, the game is already over. Doesn't matter what they do. I literally, all I have to do is attack with this, and I win. But I'm going to style on them because of course I am. We're going to activate the effect of the Assembled, which absolutely baits out the Fly and Sting, so that's great. We're going to then activate the Recital Starling in order to grab up the Sapphire Swallow because we literally drew the best card in our deck at the moment, which was the Celeste Wagtail, and I'll show you why in a second. We're going to activate the effect to grab up the Bird Call, and then we're going to link those off, Xyz into the second Recital Starling. I'm going to boost my first Recital Starling because it's funny, and then attach it to it the additional material, which then allows me to boost even higher. Doesn't really matter. We're going to grab up the Cobalt Sparrow, which will then be special summoned as we search out the Barrel Canary with the Bird Call. This then allows us to grab up the Turquoise Warbler, which I'm sure you're wondering why we grabbed this one. If it's special summoned from the hand, even with something like Farigite, it can then special summon from either hand or graveyard with its effect. So, there you go. We're going to go for the effect. Go for the Turquoise Warbler, grab up a monster, doesn't really matter. We're going to go for the Shureg here, activate the effect of the Shureg, activate the effect of the Farigite. We're going to banish this Ballpark so that they can't take, or they can't prevent any damage. And then we're going to go for the Barrel Canary. We're going to target the Sapphire Swallow, and then Xyz into the Assembled. Assembled then allows me to attach an additional material with the Sapphire Swallow effect, and then we're also going to attach the Celeste Wagtail. We're then going to, there are two ways that I could have done this. Okay, I think I still already have lethal with the Assembled because I get 3 attacks at 800 attack each. I guess no, I wouldn't have had lethal. No, I would have needed the 4th attack. But had I not detached the material here, I could have done well over lethal. Yeah. However, the funnier thing to do is prevent myself from taking any damage and just run into them for 3,000 damage with the recital. So, good game. Alright, and here I'm going to show you how to OTK your opponent with a godlike hand. This hand is genuinely insane. Triple tactics, foolish burial, full combo. It's great. So yeah, they're going to start off here with the Word Legacy and Shadows, set to and pass. Not the greatest, not the worst. We'll see how this goes. I'm going to draw for turn, Rescue Cat, which is funny. We're going to start off with the Turquoise Warbler, to the which my opponent will go Maxine. And I'm like, okay, well, not really much I can do about that. However, I'm going to try to OTK, because I do have a really good hand, and I can absolutely do this, and I'll show you. So, we're going to start with the Turquoise Warbler to special summon out the Cobalt Sparrow. Cobalt Sparrow will grab up the Sapphire Swallow. We're going to special summon both it and the Celeste Wagtail in order to go and activate the Celeste Wagtail effect to grab up Bird Sanctuary. Now, I didn't really cover this card previously in the deck profile because I wanted to cover it here. Bird Sanctuary, you can target 2 Winged Beast Exeme monsters you control, attach one to the other. Okay? Just all of the material as to the other monster. Also, if you control an Exeme monster with 3 or more materials, you can draw a card. The important part is the attach effect, at least here, because it allows me to attach the Recital Starling and its material to the assembled Nightingale, which can then go for the OTK. So that's the idea here. We're going to go and just boost a monster, it doesn't really matter. I don't even need to activate that effect realistically, but we're going to grab up the Barrel Canary here. We're going to go for the Cobalt Sparrow in particular, because the Cobalt Sparrow allows us to have target protection. So both of my Xyz were made with the Cobalt Sparrow, which now allows me to have that protection. I'm also just going to dump any Lyrilusc here so that the Sapphire Swallow has a target here, because I can't get the Recital Starling off of the field yet. We are then going to attach to the assembled Nightingale the additional Sapphire Swallow with the Sapphire Swallow's effect, and of course, the Cobalt Sparrow is protecting from targeting. At this point, we also have the ability to go for the triple attack and look at their hand, but that's not really that big of a deal. And then we can go and activate our Bird Sanctuary, and 2 things can happen. Or we can do 2 things here. We can draw a card, and we can attach an additional, or the Recital Starling here, which then would give us 7 materials, which is 7 attacks, because this card gets an additional attack per material. It also gains 200 attack, and since it was made with the Barrel Canary, it's an additional 200 on top of that, so it's a 1600 attack point monster that can attack 7 times directly. It can attack directly for 7 attacks at 1600 each. That's well over lethal, and my opponent realizes that in scoops. Through Maxi. Granted, my opponent was playing basically nothing, but you get the point. That's basically what you're supposed to do. You know, I had triple attack. I could have like stolen a monster or interacted in some regard that way. Also, I had the target protection the whole time on my Xyz, so there's that. Good game. All right, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck is fun. I actually just thoroughly enjoy Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade, and I always will in almost any capacity. I feel the Lyrilusc cards are very interesting and provide some very fun interactions. The Recital Starling interaction is hilarious and is just very fun. And all in all, I really love things like Shureg and Samorph and all of those cards in general. So yeah, thoroughly enjoy those. On top of that, I just overall enjoy the deck. I enjoy what it is, I enjoy playing it, and stuff like that. However, if I was not playing this deck, I would hate this event, and even just trying to build this deck was a struggle. I don't have Nerval, which does matter. I don't have Revolt, which does matter. I only have the one of Bird Call, which is annoying. It just felt... It was just difficult. And, like, I don't have Apex Avian, but I have, like, some Morg and stuff like that, so it's just weird, and it's not... I don't know, this event's weird. Not a big fan of it. I thought it could have been so much better if it was just, like, Tri-Brigade stuff. Like, yeah, Tri-Brigade would have been dominant had we not banned Nerval, but, like, who cares? Tri-Brigade can be used in literally every one of these decks, except for, like, the insect ones, but, like, it's not like B-Trooper's that bad. We could have played full power B-Trooper, but of course they made the loner bad. Anyway, I'm just glad to be done with this. I did have some fun, but it was mostly towards the end with those last few replays that it was actually even remotely entertaining. Most of it was just boring, for lack of a better term. But yeah, all in all, there you go. That's the deck. Hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. Hope that this was helpful. And anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed. If you did, I like us very much. So appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.